I'm torn because something happened. Something happened yesterday that I just can't seem to shake from my heart and from my soul. I spoke during Pathways worship this past week about the first of John Wesley's 3 simple rules. And these rules are found in our book of discipline, and they're something that drives our mission and our theological tasks. So here they are. Do no harm. Do good. Stay in love with God. 3 simple rules. It shouldn't be this hard. It really shouldn't. But yesterday, harm was done. Regardless of what side of the political divide you find yourself on, we should all follow the premise of doing no harm. And yesterday, harm was done. There was an attempt on someone's life, and this is unacceptable. I may not agree or disagree with all that our former President Donald Trump believes. I may not agree with his rhetoric or the policies, just as I may not agree with all of our current president's policies. But they are still human beings who have been created in the image of God, just like you and just like me. Violence is never the answer. Never the answer. For far too long, we have been drifting farther and farther apart as a society. We no longer have healthy debates about issues. We no longer work towards compromises on issues of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've become a divided society, no longer seeing each other as human beings. We decide who people are simply based on political and theological beliefs, making it easier to dismiss them. Do we not see how this kind of view of humanity has played throughout history? Do we need a history lesson about the results of this kind of thinking? And if you think it all started and ended around World War II in Germany with a horrific regime, we might need to revisit our history. The church was not excluded from this, and neither was slavery, colonialism, genocides across the globe, boarding schools, and countless other events. When our enemies are proclaimed as less than human, it becomes much easier to rationalize their elimination and extinction. I think it's about time we get back to the gospel, to the good news. It's time to get back to the basics of our faith and the verbs that God has used in Ephesians chapter 1. We need to see each other as part of God's creation, regardless of the diversity. In fact, maybe in spite of the diversity. We are all created in God's image, and that is the image of love. Paul writes this wonderful letter to the church in Corinth who is facing divisions of all kinds. So maybe we think we're different today. Paul's letter tells us we're not that different than so many years ago. And so he told them the following: I will show you a more excellent way. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And now these 3 remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. God chooses to love us. Even in our faults and failures, even in our sin, even in our divisions and our diversity, can we then love as well? Can we make the choice, just as God does, to love our neighbor regardless of their political affiliation? Can we choose to love our neighbor even if they don't look like, act like, or believe like we do? Can we truly do no harm? Let us live the more excellent way. Let us take the high road, God's road to reconciliation, to God's forgiveness, and to God's love. Will you pray with me? Loving and gracious God, God, in our passage today, we hear about all these verbs, all these actions that you do to reconcile us with you. God, the ways that you pour your grace upon us and the way you love us just as we are. God, sometimes we find it difficult to do the same to others. And that is why we need this letter that Paul wrote that tells us that there is a more excellent way. That we can choose to love, that we can choose to forgive, that we can choose to live with one another. Maybe not agreeing on everything, but having respectful conversations and seeing each other as children of yours. Seeing each other as we are created in your image. And so, God, encourage us, strengthen us, and allow us to truly follow that high road, that more excellent way, that we may be a witness and a testimony to those around us that there is a different way, that it doesn't have to be anger, it doesn't have to be violence, it doesn't have to be hatred, that it can be love and respect, and we can work together to bring about your kingdom. God, we lift this all to you. In the mighty and the matchless name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.